I mean, we heard earlier that, homelessness increases a risk a great deal, I think, for youngsters in terms of drifting into criminal activity, increases the risk of being abused. Does your experience of working with the centre back this up, would you say?
Very much so. I mean, the young people we work with are very vulnerable. They're actually quite naive and innocent. They've got a very tough exterior because they have to be quite to survive on the street, but actually inside they're quite naive and innocent and vulnerable, and we have to help them. We provide a lot of support in terms of safe action when they're out, if they're going out on the town, how to be safe, what not to do, when the alarm bell should ring, sexual health, other issues like that. So we provide all that background in terms of those life skills that we talked about.
Now, you're a trustee of the centre, so what does a trustee do, and how and why did you get involved?
I think I'm involved with local politics, and I'd been interested in the centre for a while, and I'd given them some donations. And just at one point, someone I knew who was a trustee approached me and said, would I like to become a trustee? As trustees, we don't work there day to day. We have our ordinary jobs, but we oversee the running of the charity, a bit like a school governor would oversee a school, I guess. And I became a trustee 3 years ago, really because I was so impressed by what I saw. It's definitely not a hostel. It really is a home from home.
We'll come back, we'll chat a little bit more, both to Adrian, Lauren, and also introduce Phil as well into the conversation between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. Let's do
Travel you can trust.
From BBC Radio Lancashire.
And a very good afternoon to you. John Gillmore, Gilly till 4 this afternoon. We're finding out about life at the Birchwood Centre in Skelmersdale. Also as well about them raising, hopefully, £5,000 towards the centre next week as well. We'll find out all about that between now and 2 o'clock. Formed there by Ellie Goulding on BBC Radio Lancashire. We've already spoken to Trustee Adrian Owens about the Birchwood Centre and its work. Heard first-hand experiences of homelessness from Lauren, who's been at the centre now for 11 months. And we're also joined in the studio by Phil. Now, Phil, you're a former resident at the centre. Just tell me your story and how you came to be a resident.
Well, I was actually private renting, fell behind on the rent and ended up getting evicted from the property. So I went to the council. They gave me a list of numbers, and the first one I rang was the crisis centre at the time. It changed its name since. Went for an interview and got the place. I moved in. I'm actually glad that I did move in there, because at that time it's one of the hardest parts of my life that I've ever been through, and I'll probably never go through that again. Well, I'm hoping so.
Did you get lots of help and advice when you moved in?
I did. There was one person who stands out the most for me, and that's Laura Evans. She's helped me so much. That when I was there and since, and I wanted to repay that with a thank you. So a couple of years ago, the manager Stella Connell came to me and asked if I would be interested in doing some voluntary work there, and I did agree, and that was just over 2 years ago now, and I haven't looked back. I've kept on going. It started off at half a day a week.
How old were you when you moved into the centre then?
24.
What was your first week like? Can you...
My first week, I actually didn't stay at the centre. I stayed out for the first 2 weeks. I put all my stuff in there.
Why didn't you stay then? After finding this accommodation, why did you decide you weren't?
Found it a little bit intimidating in there, because there was 8 other people. 7 other young people in there, plus the member of staff. Didn't know anyone, so didn't feel right for me. So I ended up staying out with friends, and then I built up the courage, not to actually go, and I did stay there.
Were they asking where you were, though? Were they keeping a check on you?
Yeah, I was getting phone calls off the staff each day, where am I? And each time I was at...
I think you've just been given a special award as well, haven't you?
Me 100 and me 200 hour certificates for voluntary.
When you're volunteering at the centre, what sort of jobs do you do? What do you help out with?
Mine's to do with the maintenance on the buildings, so it can be put a new door handle on a door, to putting a door in place, to painting a wall, to painting a room. It can be a mixture of things. I do a lot. I've too much to actually say, because there's that many.
You enjoy it. Adrian wants to say something there, do you?
I was going to say you're a very good plasterer as well, Phil.
Yeah.
Got all those skills. Are you pleased that you went back? Obviously, as you say, you put all your belongings in. Then you didn't go because you couldn't face it for 2 weeks. Are you glad that you made that decision to stay there?
Yes, I am. As I said, it was one of the hardest points in my life that I went through, and I don't wish that on anyone, that what I went through. So it was really good that I was in the centre at that time. It was actually the incident that happened made me go back, because at the time I had family and their cousin who I hadn't seen for a lot of years was living there, and I got a phone call one morning, something had happened, and that night I went back and saw my cousin and saw the member of staff who was on.
You've obviously moved away from the centre now, still go back to volunteer. Where are you living now, and are you living independently now? I
live in Liverpool now, and I am living independently in my own flat. I've been there for just over a year now, and I feel great. One of the best things I ever did was move away from Skem, but I didn't want to lose contact with people from the centre.
Obviously, Adrian, a great story for you. They're a great success story for the centre.
Absolutely, John. I mean, we have our young people going on to do all sorts of things. With young people going on to university, and we try and keep in contact with most of our young people. We probably have 20, 25 young people come through the centre in a year. Most of those people we keep in contact with. We have an open door. People come back, they pop in, come in for a cup of tea. The kettle is always on, and like in any decent house, the kitchen's always the best place to be in the house.
Now then, next week, yourself and also Phil and also Lauren as well are taking part in a major physical challenge, aren't you, next week? Are you ready for this?
I'm not sure I am. I think Lauren and Phil, the way they bounced up Helvellyn the other week, are in a better state than I am. We're doing the Three Peaks Challenge, John, which is Ben Nevis, Snowdon and Scaffold Pike, the highest mountains in England, Scotland and Wales. We're doing it to raise money for the centre. We're hoping to raise £5,000. We've already raised over 2,000. Wow. We're hoping a bit of publicity here will, from your listeners, will get us even higher.
All the money, of course, raised goes to the centre.
Yes.
You're obviously looking forward to it, Phil.
Yeah.
Have you, obviously, apart from Helvellyn, have you done any more training?
Yeah, did Ingleborough with Adrian, and we did one in Wales. I forget the name of it. That's it.
What about you, Lauren? Are you looking forward to next week?
Yeah, well, I'm really nervous as well, because I don't want to get halfway up and be like, I can't do it, but I'm committed and I want to get to the top, and I think it'll be a great achievement if it is.
Does that worry you, getting halfway up and maybe not being able to...
No, I think I'll just cope, even if I've got blisters.
I'm sure you'll... even if you've got blisters, right? So you've been doing quite a bit of training. Have you done anything like this before?
I've done quite a bit of hill walking in my time, but I'm some years ago, so I've needed to get back into training, lose a bit of weight and do it. But I think it had three real reasons for doing it. One was to raise money. Two was to raise awareness, which, thanks to you at the BBC today, we're doing. And thirdly, it's a great personal development opportunity for the young people, because most of them, they come from Skelmersdale or West Lancashire, and urban environments. Going up a mountain is something really new to them, and it's quite a challenge.
So you hope to raise 5,000. You've done over 2,000 so far, so you're on target. People just go to the website and sponsor you. Presumably, we'll have all the details on the BBC Radio Lancashire help desk if anybody wants to get involved. So, when do you start, and when will you all be back in Skelmersdale?
Well, at this time next week, we will be just heading towards the base camp at Ben Nevis, and we'll be heading up Ben Nevis Friday afternoon next week, and we should be back at the centre late on Saturday.
Well, listen, the best of luck with that. Hope it all goes well to Lauren and to Phil as well. Perhaps you'll get in touch with us after you've done the event, and we'll see how much you've raised, and we'll check on your blisters as well, maybe, Lauren. There we are. Well, thanks for joining us this afternoon on the programme on BBC Radio Lancashire. News at 2.